ಗ್ರೀಟಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಒನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್. ನಾವು ಕಳೆದ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಗುಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ನ ಸೂಪರ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದಂಗೆ ಸಪ್ತಪದಿ ಅಂದರೆ 7 ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ನ ನೀವು ನೆನಪಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಈ 7 ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ನ ನೀವು ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ ಶ್ಯೂರ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಎನಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಸೂಪರ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಗುಡ್ ವಿಲ್. ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಇವತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಮೂಲಕ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ಈ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಕಳೆದ ಸೆಷನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂತಹ 7 ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ರೀಕ್ಯಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ತದನಂತರ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ 1 ವಾಸ್ calculation of adjusted profits. This is the key step. Step 2 was calculation of average adjusted profits. Step 3 was calculation of capital employed. Step 4 calculation of average capital employed. Step 5 calculation of normal profits. Step 6 calculation of super profits. And step 7 valuation of goodwill or calculation of goodwill. Friends, these are the 7 steps that I need you to know with respect to calculation of goodwill under super profits method. Friends, ಈಗ ಈ 7 ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ನ ಅರಿವು ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೇಗೆ ಗುಡ್ವಿಲ್ ನ ಈ ಸೂಪರ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ಶಾಲ್ ವಿ ಗೋ ಹೆಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಎ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್? ಕಮ್, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡ್ ಫರ್ದರ್. ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದೆ. Let us see what the problem is. Following is the balance sheet of ABC Company Limited as on 31st March 2005. Okay. Fixed assets 2,50,000 ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ. Investments, that is he has invested in 5% government bonds. That's a very important information. I will discuss what the implications are in a while. 1 lakh ಇದೆ. Current assets 1,50,000 ಇದೆ. ಈ ಕಡೆ liabilities side ಅಲ್ಲಿ share capital 4 lakhs, debentures 50,000, bank overdraft 20,000, creditors 30,000, and the total of the balance sheet is 5 lakhs. Friends, the average profits of the company amounted to rupees 35,000 ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಈ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನೇ average profits ನ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿದಿದ್ದಾನೆ and he says it is 35,000. But there is some adjustment that we need to do. What is that adjustment is with regard to ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವನೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಅದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಸದ್ಯದಲ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ದಿ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಅರ್ನ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಈಸ್ 8% ಆನ್ ಆವರೇಜ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಡ್. ಫೈನ್, ಇದು ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ 8%. ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟ್ ದಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಗುಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆನ್ ದಿ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ 3 years purchase of super profits. Friends, now let us solve this problem. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿದಿದೆ, ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಿ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಗಿವನ್. ನಾವು ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ as average profits. Okay, how much is the average profits that he has given us? 35,000. Okay, but you need to adjust. What is that adjustment ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ this is the important adjustment. Including income from investment ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾನೆ. Friends, investment is made in 5% government bonds. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವನು ಹೊರಗೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾನ್ ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಯು ದಿ ಪ್ರೊಫಾರ್ಮಾ ಟು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನ್ ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಡಿಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ರೀಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೊಫಾರ್ಮಾ. ನಾನ್ ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ನಾನ್ ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡಿಡಕ್ಟ್. ಹೆನ್ಸ್ 1 lakh is the investment, 5% is the rate of interest. Now 1 lakh into 5% shall be 5,000 rupees. ಈ 5,000 ನ ಈ 35,000 average profits ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳಿಬೇಕು. Keep that in mind. This is the first adjustment that you need to take care of. Friends, next, the normal rate of return earned by similar companies in the same industries 8% on average capital employed ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾನೆ. This is normal rate of return, that is 8% given in the question. Nothing to worry about it. He says compute the value of goodwill on the basis of 3 years purchase of super profits. Friends, let us proceed further and try to solve this particular problem. Now, this step 1, I wanted you to calculate adjusted profits. Friends, in this particular problem, step 1 and step 2 shall be merged together. The reason is he is directly given us average profits. ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಆಗಿ 2, 3, 4 ವರ್ಷದ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ 1 ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್, ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ 2 ಆವರೇಜ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ adjusted profits and average adjusted profits, that is step 1 and 2 shall be merged together. Let us proceed further and try to see how it has to be done. Step 1, calculation of average adjusted profits. How to do that ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಈಗ ನೋಡೋಣ. Friends, as I said, he is directly given us average profits. Now, how to calculate average adjusted profits ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಈಗ ನೋಡೋಣ. Friends, ಅವನು average profits ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ. Let us write this average profits. Average profits ಅವನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು 35,000. I will write this 35,000 as it is. Now, as I said, you need to make only one adjustment, that is less. Already ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ, there is something called as non-operating income. ನಾನ್ ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಯಾವ ಮೋಡಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಾಂಡ್ಸ್, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಲಿಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ರೈಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಲೆಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ 1 ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಾಂಡ್ಸ್. ಅದೆಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ 1 lakh is the investment and he says it is 5% rate of interest, hence the amount shall be 5,000. If I deduct 5,000 from 35,000, I would get something called as average adjusted profits. Friends, in this particular problem, I have only one adjustments which I have done. Now, the average adjusted profits is 30,000 rupees. I am done with step 1. Now, let me proceed further to step 2. As I said, in this particular problem, step 1 and step 2 have been merged. Now, step 2 shall be calculation of average capital employed, or in fact capital employed. Now, as I said, capital employed can be calculated in two ways, starting from the asset side or starting from the liability side. Friends, I always prefer you to do from the asset side. Now, let us see in this particular problem, what are the assets that I need to take? Should I take fixed assets? Of course, yes. Investments? No, because it is an outside investment, hence you will ignore this investment. Now, should I take current assets? Yes. Now, under the asset side, I need to consider fixed assets and current assets. Friends, moving ahead, what are the things that I need to deduct from liability side? I have to deduct only the outsider's liability, that is debentures, bank overdraft as well as creditors. I wouldn't deduct share capital because that is an insider liability. Friends, again I repeat, I will take the total of fixed assets and current assets. From that total, I would deduct debentures, bank overdraft and creditors. The resultant amount would be capital employed. Now, let us proceed further and do that. Friends, the first thing under the asset side is fixed assets. Now, how much did I have the fixed assets? I had 2,50,000. I would put it here. Assets 2,50,000, that is fixed assets. I also had current assets. I will put current assets, and the total of current assets given in the question was 1,50,000. I would put that as well. 1,50,000. Now, these two put together would give me something called as total assets, the total of which is rupees 4 lakhs. From this, I would deduct the liabilities, that is outsiders liabilities. I had 3 outsiders liabilities, that is debentures, bank overdraft and creditors. I would deduct each of them. Now, point number 1 was debentures. I would put debentures. Now, after debentures, I had something called as bank overdraft and creditors. I would write all these 3: bank, overdraft and creditors. Now, let us see what are the respective amounts. Debentures 50,000, bank overdraft 20,000, creditors 30,000. I would put these amounts here. 50,000. Now 20,000 was the bank overdraft and 30,000 was creditors. Friends, if I take the total, this is total outsiders, I can put it like this, total outsiders liabilities. Now this total I can call it as total assets, of course in the business, okay, employed in the business, you can call it total assets employed in the business, that would make sense. Now the total liabilities amounts to rupees 1 lakh. Now if I would call this as A for convenience sake, and I would call this as B so that it will be simpler for you to understand. Now the difference amount is referred to as capital employed, that is A minus B. Now I'll put this in brackets. Now how much is A minus B? That is 4 lakh minus 1 lakh, that would fetch me 3 lakh. Friends, now the capital employed is calculated as 3 lakhs. Now we are done with step 2. Now the next step, step 3, would be calculation of average capital employed. Calculation of average capital employed. Now how would I calculate the average capital employed? Friends, I have given you a formula which you would remember, I believe. Now the average capital employed is equal to, hope you remember the formula which I discussed in my previous session, capital employed minus half of current year adjusted profits. In this particular problem, since I do not have current year adjusted profits, I can take average adjusted profits itself. Doesn't matter. Again I repeat, in this particular problem, you do not have current year adjusted profits, hence you can take average adjusted profits itself. Now capital employed amounted to rupees 3 lakhs minus half of, now how much was my current adjusted profits, that is average adjusted profits, 30,000, half of 30,000. Now if I could simplify this, I would get 3 lakhs minus 15,000, which amounts to rupees 2,85,000. Friends, this is my average capital employed. Now I am done with step 3. Now I shall move to step 4. Now step 4 is calculation of normal profits. Now this is a very simple step. For this also I have given you a formula. Now it's very important to remember all the formulas which I have discussed in my previous class. Now normal profits would be average capital employed into normal rate of return. Now how much would that be? Now average capital employed you have calculated as rupees 2,85,000 into, in the question there was an information with regard to normal rate of return, that is 8% on average capital. Now that's exactly what we are doing, average capital employed into 8%. Friends, this would give me rupees 22,800. I have completed the calculation of normal profits as well. Now let us proceed further to step 5, that is calculation of super profits. Now super profits, what was the formula that I discussed? Super profits is equal to average adjusted profits minus normal profits. Again I repeat, average adjusted profits minus normal profits. Now how much would that give me? Average adjusted profits you have calculated as 30,000. Hence 30,000 minus normal profits that we just now computed 22,800. the difference amount is referred to as super profits, that is 7,200. Friends, you are completed with step 5 as well. Friends, the last step is calculation of goodwill. Now, goodwill is equal to number of years of purchase. This was the formula that we discussed. Number of years of purchase into super profits. Now, friends, what was the number of years of purchase given in the question? You can look into the question. The information would be given there. It is given as 3 years purchase of super profits. Hence, it is 3 into super profits is 7,200. Now, this would give me a goodwill amount of rupees 21,600. Now, this is the valuation of goodwill under super profits method. You have computed the goodwill as rupees 21,600. Friends, hope you have understood the procedure involved in calculation of goodwill under super profits method. In this question, the first and the second step was merged together. Hence, instead of 7 steps, you have just got 6 steps. Friends, hope you understood this particular problem. This is a very simple problem to begin with. In my next class, I would rather take up a little more challenging problem, and I will also discuss annuity method, which is just a small extension of the super profits method. Friends, let us have a small recap into this particular problem. Step 1, as I said, I have clubbed step 1 and 2 for the reasons that I have explained earlier. Calculation of average profits. Now, average adjusted profits rather. Now, step 2 was calculation of capital employed, which I have done, taking fixed assets and current assets. I have deducted debentures, bank overdraft and creditors, which were the outsiders liability. Then the resultant amount was capital employed. I got rupees 3 lakhs as capital employed. From that, I had to deduct half of current year adjusted profits to arrive at something called as average capital employed. Now I got 2,85,000 as average capital employed. Then on, I proceeded to calculate normal profits. Normal profits ಹೇಗೆ calculate ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? Average capital employed into normal rate of return. I got 22,800 as the amount. Now then I proceeded to step 5, that is calculation of super profits. Now super profits is equal to average adjusted profits minus normal profits, which I got as rupees 7,200. Then the last step, calculation of goodwill, which was number of years of purchase into super profits. In this particular problem, it was 3 years purchase of super profits. Hence, I got 3 into 7,200. That is rupees 21,600. Friends, hope you have understood. Thank you for your patient listening. Signing off from you, Dr. Sai Ram.